Erlene did not understand the assignment in the slightest bit. Tomorrow, today's the day after Christmas. Tomorrow we had the big plan to film Erlene's day 320 update for YouTube. We were gonna do also an update on Kennedy because she was gonna be 307 days tomorrow. And you know, we've got a couple baby horses to wean, like the little minis, like all these things tomorrow, right? I didn't plan on having to call Nate and Matt this morning at 8 a.m. being like, we got a baby, but we do, so come see it. She's sleeping. Okay, so for those that don't know, 320 days is considered like the safe date with horses. 340 days is considered their due date. They can go overdue. And really 310 days is what's considered viability for a horse's baby. And there are foals that are born in that 310 to 320 window that end up being fine. There's just a lot more risk pre 320. And so really, I've been checking on Erlene daily. She's a maiden, meaning this is her first baby, so you just never know. But I swear, y'all, there wasn't a big difference in her last night. She didn't have like a waxing udder. It wasn't any bigger or any different than it had been a couple days prior. She might have been a smidge looser in her hip, wasn't acting weird, watched her on the camera, wasn't laying down, wasn't rolling, wasn't acting uncomfortable, like there was nothing. And then I watched her until a certain point at night. I was planning on having her foal alert put in this coming week because that's how little I thought she was gonna have her dang baby. And then I get a call this morning being like, oh, did you know Erlene had her baby? No, that's news to me. So she had a very pretty, beautiful little filly. Let's go meet her. And then the vet's coming out to do her checkup and all the things. I'll just come. She's so sleepy. Hi, honey. She's been very sweet. At first, I would say Erlene didn't necessarily reject her at all. Sometimes with maidens, they just don't want the baby out of their sight. And so that was kind of what Erlene was doing. She wanted her baby in front of her the entire time, and so she wasn't letting her go to the back to nurse. So we did have to hold her a little bit and like help the little girl out to go back and latch. And then once she latched 2 or 3 times, Erlene understood. And it's so funny because I hope we catch it. It's like she's standing there against her will. She stands there with her ears back while the baby's nursing. And she's still as a statue letting her baby eat. But she'll start going and like squealing. Like she hates it, but she knows she needs to do it. Can I pet your baby? So a few things that we do with all of our foals. What we've already done before the camera was here. So I've already cleaned her navel a couple of times with iodine. We do that just to keep things sanitary until that dries up. And then we gave her an enema after she ate. We made sure she was eating. She was already dry and standing by the time we got down here. So Erlene plopped her out all by herself. God bless her. So that's what we've done already. What we're about to do is the vet's about to come out, and I know this vet very personally, and she does not love being on camera, and we obviously do not, ask that of people that don't want to be on camera. And so I'm going to kind of explain the things that we're going to be doing so that, they'll show minimal, hands-on stuff of what she's doing with the baby, but we won't require her to be on camera. So what we will be doing is doing a blood test, which is the IgG test, to see if this baby in the last 8 hours has gotten all the antibodies from the colostrum that Erlene has made, or has hopefully made. And if they haven't gotten all the antibodies they need, then we may supplement and give them some plasma. We are also going to do radiographs. I don't x-ray all of my babies when they're born, but because this foal was born 3 weeks early, what we're gonna do is radiograph her carpal and her hocks to make sure that she has enough development that we're okay with her having movement, so like going outside, because you don't want them putting stress on the cartilage in their knees and in their hocks when they don't have that bone there. So if she's a little underdeveloped, we'll keep her in the stall for a little bit longer and let her get that development before we start letting her have motion. So we're gonna do x-rays. That's not something we normally do, but we're gonna do it this time. And then she's just gonna listen to her lungs, listen to her heart, look at her legs and her feet, and like see if she sees anything that might need addressing, because some things you can fix when they're this little, with either bandaging if they're a little bit relaxed or a little bit tight, which I've seen her and I don't think she is either of those. Honestly, she came out pretty perfect, knock on wood. She's just early. So we'll make sure that we cover all of our bases when the vet gets here. But until then, I mean, she's snooze. I don't really want to wake her up, poor thing, until I have to. Make that tummy feel good. I'm gonna give Mama a little gut help. It's a stressful event having babies. Whoa, sweetie. Oh yeah, we've also dewormed Mom already. We do that immediately after foaling. Sweetie. Good girl. She's been eating like crazy.
Just let her go.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
I assume you got placenta somewhere.
Yep, I got it in a bucket right out here.
And then I'll have you stay on my side.
Girl.
Try not to get between mom and baby.
Yeah, you're good. I've seen her drink quite a bit.
Okay.
She ate her breakfast. Yeah.
But you still think 9 was the first time she nursed?
You know, I do, because her teats did not look like they had been suckled.
Okay.
And the baby, she just really wanted her to be in front of her and didn't want to let her back there until we held her, and then she got latched a few times and
Explain the situation.
yeah. And after that, all was well. She's so stinking cute. Of course you're gonna be the flashiest baby of the year. Of course.
Sorry, girl. She'll look after mama.
We're just checking Mama out, checking baby out. She pooped a lot last night. Have not seen her poop today. I feel like she might have cleaned herself out.
I think that's probably fair.
Pre-baby.
A little bruised up back there, but
Mama is.
mm-hmm.
I came down here late last night, watched her on the camera, nothing.
Oh, yeah.
Nothing.
Oh, yeah. Oh.
Nothing. No changes in her udder. Nothing. Oh, she was trying to scratch herself, and she didn't know how to do it.
See what's in the bucket. I know.
Poor little booty.
I know, it's not fun.
The booty hole in 4K.
Get my face out of it. I don't want to be in 4K. Take me back to the 80s.
She's like, I just got warm.
You got the baby twitches for sure.
We had 2 blankets on her earlier because she was so cold, but she couldn't get up. She was a little tied down.
Yeah.
Hang out in. Well, I actually was going to ask if you thought, which we'll know after x-raying, if they needed to be more constrained. Because we have a couple of smaller foaling stalls
Okay.
than this, if you thought she needed less movement. But
I mean, at least she's not like, she looks pretty solid, you know, she doesn't look super relaxed.
I know, I
Sorry,
mean-
Jen, I'm getting real personal with you there.
there it is.
You gotta stay on though.
Her little white lip is so stinking cute.
It's cute.
She's not quite to going from tit to tit yet. Her swallows are so loud. Oh no.
I'd like to see her latched on a little bit longer.
I said, noted. Here you go. Good job, girlfriend.
Alright, now, you good if I look at your eyes now? Or you need a little bit more?
She's like, I'm still working on it. It's so frustrating. You're like, just latch on.
Yeah.
Oh, she's shit.
A little bit less tension on that. Yeah, perfect. You okay, Mama?
They do act like you're killing them with that first little stick.
Well, we are trying to, right? Now let's get that blanket back on her.
It's a toad. She might have like a freckle or two in there. I don't know. I can see it right in the middle.
Right.
Uh-oh, watch out, there's spew coming out the back.
Ah, pretty.
Checking out the placenta, what you look for is you want to make sure that mama passed all placenta. So you want to make sure you see both of the horns, you want to make sure you see each piece of it, because if there's something missing, you need to know, because you don't want any infection, you don't want her retaining any of that, because that can turn serious really, really quickly. So you always want to save the placenta and check it out afterwards and make sure it's all complete.
She managed to pulverize it.
I'm just glad she freaking passed it. Like, without us being here, like, that would have been just another...
I mean, we say like 5 or 6 hours.
Right.
You got a little bit more of a window than that. Okay.
One of my mares last year made it so annoying because she passed most of it, but it broke off. She stepped on it, and then the weight was gone. And
Oh,
so
yeah.
it was so
It's never fun.
annoying to get out.
And she decided to step all over this one. But that looks good. That's why you wanted me to do it in here.
She's
so
been
she
trying. The kitties have been vying for it all day.
So both horns are intact. And then,
Poor girl. She was probably stepping on it.
yeah, definitely stepping on it. Yeah, so like all these holes, I can't 100% guarantee, but like when you attempt to put the puzzle back together, it looks like all the pieces are there.
Yeah.
Usually the horns where they retain and tear, it's pretty, or less common for them to like lose a piece in the body. So, one on the left is 400, one on the right is 800.
It looks more towards the 800.
It's definitely close to 800. The one on the bottom is babies.
Yeah.
So-
And that's in just 6 hours. Yeah.
So it should be good.
Sweet. Can I take a picture of that?
You can.
Sweet.
Left front.
Like I said, I just wanted to take a picture of the fact that, like, we have 7's x-rays.
Yeah.
And, like, seeing this baby that is still considered a preemie,
Yeah.
and, like, how much bone there is in there is crazy.
So
That's,
this is growth plate here.
yeah.
And then this is growth plate down here. But I'd say just a little bit more space
Uh-huh.
than I'd like to see between the two.
Would you say limited?
I think limited turnout. I think she's probably okay in there. I don't think we need to go like wild and crazy with splints or anything. I can also let Dr. Christine look at them and see what her opinion is.
That'd be great.
I feel like this one, maybe I got it a little bit straighter through, but I just like to see a little bit more space between.
Would you recommend reshooting before turnout?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That'd be good. appreciate that. That's such a crazy thing what a few days can do.
Yeah. I mean, and it's not horrible. I mean, I think it's probably better than like I would expect for that age if she was supposed to cook
Right.
full time. You know, if she was supposed to stay in the oven.
I've had all my mares on like a bone supplement this past year,
Yeah.
and I'm wondering if that has anything to do with her being, I don't know,
Yeah.
being well formed by this age. I don't know.
I think it just depends on like what the oven is set to.
Yeah. Arlene cooks on high heat.
You're not breeding her on her full heat.
Absolutely not. Oh my gosh. So the IgG looked great. That's like the antibodies, making sure that she gets everything from mama's milk that she needed. So that's awesome. And then we did do some x-rays because with a foal born this early, she's considered a preemie. She's 3 weeks early. You want to make sure that their knees and their hocks are formed enough before you let them start putting pressure on them and going and doing lots of activity. So going out to the pasture. So we're going to let her be in this stall for 7 to 10 days actually. And then we're going to re-radiograph them, see that bone growth before we start letting her go out and romp around and be a normal baby, which is for the longevity of her health. We don't want her causing trauma to her cartilage and to those joints prematurely and then causing her to have early onset arthritis and things like that in early adulthood. So that's just, it's inconvenient for, you know, the first couple weeks of her life, and then hopefully it offsets bad things happening later. So she's all good. Let us know what kind of names you're thinking, because we're kind of thinking Christmassy, so like Noel, Holly, Candy for Candy Cane, like, I don't know, someone said Clarice, which was Rudolph's girlfriend, stuff like that, or going off of Arlene's name and doing like Jolene, Charlene, Darlene, I don't know, let me know what you think there. There is a little bit of something, like we've always said, they have to be born after January 1st. They don't have to be, it's just a lot more convenient. So why that is in AQHA or pretty much any breed registry in the United States, they have to be born within the calendar year to show in that age group when they're older. So for example, your kid is in soccer, he's 5. You want that kid playing with other 5-year-olds. So there has to be a cutoff for their birthdays to make sure that everyone is in that same age category. And the same thing with horses. So when you're showing a 2-year-old and you want to make sure it's showing against other 2-year-olds or 3-year-olds, or, you know, a junior horse, which is 5 and under, or a senior horse, which is 6 and over, to make sure everybody is in that same age window, they have a cutoff. And so as of January 1st, every quarter horse, every paint horse, every thoroughbred turns a year older. So at 5 days old, she will be considered a yearling at shows. So what that does, unfortunately, is it does hinder probably the first 3 years of her life showing. It doesn't hinder her in any way in her longevity of her career, of her being a riding horse, showing horse. It just affects her showing in those early futurities. And honestly, there's plenty of people that don't care about that. So she's gonna be fine, but just explaining what her being born in December does do. Now, to end this, let's go look at Kennedy. Kennedy is our next mare due, and she is 306 days pregnant today. So Kennedy is our next mare due. She has been giving us a little bit of drama, okay? So at around 290 days, which has been a couple weeks ago, she started giving signs of mastitis. She started having one side of her udder absolutely blow up, be super engorged, super painful looking, was dripping milk, was having wax, like all these things that happen really close to foaling, and she was nowhere near her foaling window. So that was due to an infection. So sometimes they get placentitis, sometimes they get mastitis. All these things can cause, you know, premature abortions. They can have their babies super early. It can kind of put them into foaling. So we took it super seriously, had an ultrasound done, put her on antibiotics, put her on an anti-inflammatory for a little bit. And thankfully, it seemed to have done the right things. It seemed to have taken her udder down. Now her teats, I'm gonna show you here in a second, they've been enlarged since she came here months ago. So it's really the bag above the teats we've been paying attention to. She's still waxing a little bit. The things that we're going to take into account when she does foal is the fact that she has dripped milk quite a bit over the last couple of weeks and the weeks leading up to her baby. So that means she's probably leaked a bit of her colostrum and we'll probably need to give the baby a little something extra. Maybe not, but we keep that in mind. So let's go ahead and take a look at her body and just do our little 306 update, and then we'll do periodic updates with Kennedy and try to catch her baby on film, unlike Earlene. Okay, so let's look at her belly. It's gotten a lot larger. It's dropped down a lot. I feel like she's getting a lot lower. This is her second baby that she's carried. Her hip, I feel like she's sinking in quite a bit up here. She's starting to really soften up. We do the jiggle test. Now, some people, it's funny. They're like, hey, my gelding's jiggly. Like, that's not an accurate test. And it is if you start checking your mare early enough, and it's all relative to where the starting point was. So there was a time when she was super firm. And so now I'm just gauging off of her specifically how loose she's getting. And then we check her resistance in her tail, which she's being pretty resistant. I like that. And then looking at her udder, you'll notice her teats are still really engorged, really enlarged. Her bag above it is nowhere near what it was. So we're keeping a really close eye down there, but we are hoping and praying she keeps this baby in for at least 10 more days. At least 10 more days. Hopefully 15 more days. But let me know if you have any questions. This foaling season kicked off a lot earlier than it was supposed to, a lot more dramatic than it was supposed to, but I am so happy that everyone is healthy and amazing and it worked out. And there's a little hiccup with her birth date, but you know, I can't be too picky after last year's foaling season being crazy. I will take a healthy baby a few days too early. Let me know if you have any questions and stay tuned for the next update.
Bye.